It was great, not only for myself but for my teammates. Just how they reacted, it was just great. Like my teammates, I just love my teammates being there for me.
It just seems like you have a lot of joy out there, like whether you're on the court, on the bench, like that energy. How much fun are you having right now with this team?
I'm having so much fun. Like I never been a part of a team just that feels like a family and just winning. So it's great. Yeah.
Yaya, for you, what's the transition been like to playing on this team, going from kind of the person who has to do everything for the team to just finding your role within this one?
It's great. Like no one wants to just take that role to just do everything. So I'm glad to be a part of a team that just has a lot of great players and just a lot of great minds around me.
Bella, can you speak to like what sort of joy Yaya brings to this team? You know, as part as a cheerleader, or obviously a scorer too.
Yeah. So Yaya and I actually lived together this summer for a little bit when we were kind of moving back and forth between where we live now and then just summer housing. But ever since this girl got here, she's had nothing but a smile on her face. And she brings that joy to practice every day. Like you'll look over and you'll see her dancing or cracking a joke or like pretending to dunk on somebody. And so, just that energy and that passion that she brings every day is really, really special. And then everyone has that. Everyone brings something like that, whether it's a laugh or like someone that you can talk to. Like that's what makes this team so special is we have so many different people that come together and make our family. And we can hoop too, so that's the best part.
Bella, what's the reaction to being top five, specifically number 4 in the AP poll? Y'all are undefeated now. Y'all are getting recognized via the rankings.
I was like, oh, okay. Like it's real, but at the same time, as much of an honor as that is to be recognized for what we've accomplished so far this season, we're not done yet. So it's just a number. We put our heads down and keep working, keep going. We have a tough schedule ahead of us this week and then even farther in the season as well. So just be appreciative of that recognition, but keep going.
What's been that key to success? Because it seems like no matter what the situation against whatever teams you'll play, whether you're blowing them out or you're down in the second half, you guys seem to respond.
We actually talked about this yesterday, focusing on the little things. It's easy to forget the little things when you're winning and you're having a lot of success. But we do the same drill in practice every day where we do our closeouts. And if it's not how Coach Tony wants it, we go again and we keep going until we get it right, because the little things like that are what's going to keep us on top and keep us able to push through in those moments whenever, we're tired, but we're disciplined enough to have our 1-2 back and take our big steps and cut somebody off. Like just little things like that.
Y'all are going on the road for the first time this year, so coming off 2 really great, that high of being at a new arena with the fans. What's that adjustment like of, oh man, now we're going to go back on the road?
Carrying that energy with us. I think Coach Tony used to say we weren't as focused whenever we were at home, and I feel like we've shifted that this season. I feel like we've been very locked into our game plans. But I don't know about y'all, but I think we both can say that energy, especially since you scored your 1,000th point, just that energy that we had from both nights playing in Foster Pavilion, that's going to carry us over. And then also, I look around whenever I see other filled up stadiums whenever we're playing away. I'm like, oh, let's give them a show. Let's put it on. Let's do our thing. And I feel like we really lock in whenever we're away.
What's unique about playing in Fog Alley?
Oh my gosh, I've loved that gym since I was little. My big brother dreamed of playing at KU. Just basketball history, like you've had some of the greatest players ever to play basketball play there. And so it's kind of like an honor to get to play on that court just because there's so much rich tradition in basketball history at that school. But, we're going to come in and bring what we got for them.
Yeah, you kind of got a taste of it in Texas, but does playing in front of a crowd that's not your own kind of fire you up a little bit more to kind of just go out there and give it all you've got?
Yeah, it gets me lit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I play better and big, where there's a lot of people. Yeah.
What's Foster been like for you in getting used to it? But then apparently it's a good shooter's gym, I guess, too.
Yeah, it's great. It's just the noise. Like everything is so close, so everything is just loud. The fans do a good job. It's just great.
Ella, what about you? What's Foster been like for you?
Really special. My mom sent me a picture of me running out of the tunnel during the starting lineup, and I literally like started tearing up. I was like, I came on my visit here, and they hadn't even broken ground on that project yet. So just to know that we got to be a part of that, and then win our first 2 games in there as well, just very special. Great energy. I don't know if you can tell, but we got like whenever everyone is together, just like that picture of Yaya out there shooting after we're making threes. Like it just is a really special place to play, and I'm glad that I get to be a part of that inaugural team to open it up.
What do y'all see from Kansas?
A really strong starting 5. A lot of kids with scorer mentalities. Twin Jackson, their post, she's a big girl, can finish around, very crafty. So, we just have to be really disciplined in our execution of our game plan and playing our defense. I think that's one thing that's been really different this season is our defensive effort has impacted both sides of the ball. Just getting those stops and then being able to get out and transition. So as long as we play our defense and stay focused, I think that the other end will come and we'll have a really great night.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Sic'Em.
Yeah, I feel like we always get bad weather at some point on this stretch. It was Kansas State a couple years ago. It was Oklahoma State. I mean, that first year we had a couple of them. You've just got your eye on, what the travel conditions are going to be like, if the charter's going to be pushed, things like that. But we have had to adjust at times, like, okay, we need to leave and practice there versus practice here and leave. But we don't really prepare any differently.
Coach, y'all moved up, to number 4 in the AP pool. We've talked about it before, just how you keep your team focused, but how do you really, keep your team focused right now when y'all keep rolling through play?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we talked a little bit about how the target just keeps getting bigger. Now that we're one of 3 unbeatens left, you really become the hunted. It's hard to play underdog role anymore. And so, really being focused on how and why we're here right now. And a lot of that is just doing the little things. It's preparing the right way. It's being unselfish. It's, playing the way we need to play and not getting caught into the hype and who's doing what. But, it goes back to LeBron. It's like keep the main thing. And that's, pushing forward, winning basketball games, and doing it one at a time. You just can't look too far forward because it's just as easy to get on a 3-game skid in a league like this.
Coach, I know haven't been a top 5 team since your first season here, and 3 seasons here. It's you've seen the highs and the lows. So do you have any, I guess, maybe nostalgia from that 21 season, or have you been able to kind of reflect on what it's been like these last couple seasons?
No, I think every season's unique. Every season's different. Your challenges are different every season. I think even when things look really good on the outside, it doesn't mean you still don't deal with internal adversity and a lot of things going on. And so, I really just try to do my best to focus on the kids that are here right now and what they're capable of and, comparing, contrasting. That first year was just, we talked that year that it was like drinking from a fire hose all year. And, we had to stay healthy. And we just kept getting better. We were certainly talented, but it took time for everybody to understand what we did. And in this day and age of the transfer portal, that's changed the game in the last 2 years. And so, it certainly was, you had grad transfers, but as soon as that one-time transfer exception, which who knows what it is now, came into play, now all of a sudden rosters are going to change over and, everybody's expectations change. Even when we talk about TCU, 1-17 a year ago, and all of a sudden in the top 25 because of the transfer portal, and then, you have your best player, arguably your best player, go down, and now they're dealing with a totally different set of circumstances. So, just trying to focus on this team right now, focus on Kansas, control the controllables.
The emotions of kind of that 8-day stretch between Texas and Houston, and opening a new arena and winning 3 games. Now you go on the road for, a couple hostile environments. How do you manage that, shift?
I think honestly, not that winning on the road is easy, because it's not. But I think that the stretch that we had was one of the more stressful stretches that I've felt in coaching. Opening on national TV at Texas, and then opening our arena against a top 25 opponent and wanting to play well, then not wanting to have letdown, in the next game. I think it was a tough week mentally. It was a tough week physically. I think sometimes going on the road has been really good for our program. I think we're obviously not in school yet, so we don't have to deal with homework. But they focus, they sleep, they rest, they play basketball. We tend to avoid distraction on the road, but it's still a different challenge. And certainly last year when Kansas made their run in the NIT, they did it at home, and they built a great following at Allen, and really got to see kind of what that place could look like. Last year we went in there and beat them in a close game. I mean, this is my 3rd season. None of the games that we've played against Kansas have been decided until the 4th quarter. And, a year ago they were ranked when we went up there, and, I think they were feeling the pressure, the excitement, but the pressure of being ranked for the first time in I don't remember how many years it was, where I think right now the challenge with Kansas is, like, they're a super veteran team with 3 super seniors and 1 senior in that starting lineup. And, they all came back with the expectation to get back to the NCAA tournament, to win a championship. And when you're 0-3, like, you're in survival mode. You got to fight and scrap. And so, I think that's the challenge for us, is we're going to go in against a really talented but a little bit wounded Kansas team.
Coach, when y'all had gone almost a month without, or a little bit more than a month without having a game that was truly close in the 4th quarter, or the second half really at all, how did you guys adjust to TCU and Texas, where all of a sudden it was a 2-3 possession game, or you guys were down in the second half?
I don't think we thought about it. I think that for the most part, I coach the same way. If we're up 20, whether it's a 5-point game, I think in timeouts, there are certain expectations. We're trying to execute coming out of timeouts. It's obviously more important in close games that you don't make mistakes, but you practice that in games that maybe aren't as impacted. I'm still as frustrated when we miss an assignment. If we're up 20, we were up 15 at half at Houston, and I was disappointed in our defensive effort. I just felt like we got super comfortable. We scored on the first possession, then the next possession, then the next possession, and I think we felt comfortable just going up and down and playing the game, as opposed to saying every possession matters right now. Every defensive possession matters. Every offensive possession matters. I didn't think we valued the ball the way we needed to. And so, I think it's these kids they were here to win in those big games. That's why they came to Baylor. So it's not that I don't think they enjoy playing in every game, but I also think, they're pretty fearless when it comes to playing against really good opponents. And, people ask me about halftime of the TCU game. I think there were so many outside distractions before we played that game that halftime wasn't about yelling and screaming. It was about simple adjustments to be better in the second half. Like, I didn't yell. I didn't, all I encouraged. I told them the pace would eventually impact the game, that our depth would impact the game, but we had to keep pushing it, and then we just tweaked the zone offense we were running. Those were the keys. It's like, this is what we got to fix. Keep defending the way we're defending. Give them one shot. Keep the pace up. We'll start to see the ball go through the basket, and then we did. So, every game approach is slightly different.
Coach, being inside the top 5
I think, I think this group has earned it. We didn't start here. So I think slowly and surely, we've jumped a spot, 2 spots at a time. It's a nice thing. I mean, it's a nice recognition. I'm happy for our program. Hopefully it drives eyes and butts into Foster, for the rest of the season, because I think that's how you really build an elite program. I noticed NC State sold out every remaining home game at Reynolds for the rest of the season. I would challenge, our people to come out for the first time or be the person that never misses. But I think that's where the excitement is. I mean, for us, you never talk about a goal being what your ranking is. It's about winning. It's championships. And so it's about, I think our players feel good, and they should feel good. They should feel rewarded for the work that they've put in. But once again, all it does is keep putting a bigger target on your back, and you're going to get everybody's best shot, which Baylor's always gotten anyway. Doesn't matter, when when you've been on both sides of the stats where it was the first loss against Kansas State in like 100 years, when we lost up there our first year, and it just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on ESPN, or whether it's, we haven't lost to TCU since 1990 or something. Like, those are, the expectations are always high here. So, I think right now we're living up to the standard that has been Baylor, that we want Baylor to continue to be.
Talk about balance scoring, but you also have balance on the boards, balance with assists. How encouraging is it that everybody seems very bought into what their role is in any game that comes up?
I think it's, we've always talked about, one of my favorite things as a coach is when you see players pointing at a teammate, when they throw a good pass. When I think they understand now that our strength is in numbers, our strength is each other, that, one night it's Bugs, and one night it's Asia, and one night it's Bella, and one night it's Sarah, and that doesn't mean that it's not always all their nights to some degree, but when it comes to maybe being the leading scorer, that can change. I think it makes us hard to guard, and I think they understand that if they keep the ball moving, and the ball has energy and our assist percentage is high, that it's fun basketball to play. I just think that's, I certainly think we've got players that would probably enjoy taking 30 shots a game. But I also think they understand that that's not who we are, and that on the games that they're having huge games, the ball is going to keep coming back to them. And you can see, once again, the difference between how effective we are offensively when the ball has energy and it moves versus when we're trying really hard to get one person a few baskets. And, and the offense really bogged down in an attempt to, try to get Yaya buckets late. And we probably missed other open people that would have made it, and so I think they're bought into winning. I think when you sacrifice personally and you win, it's a lot easier. Sacrificing personal stats and losing, that's hard. That's a hard sell. And so, I think you still have to, as a coach in this day and age, you got to manage personalities and you got to manage expectations. And, when someone's not getting shots, I'm smart enough to run a play to get them a shot so that they stay engaged defensively and stay on the boards and do all of that. So I still think we have to do that. Because I still think they all want to post highlights. They want to post team highlights. They also want to post their own. Hard to get personal highlights if you don't have one. So, I think it's about making sure that we do spread it out around when it comes to sometimes play calling even.
When Yaya was used to being kind of the player,
Yeah.
how have you gotten her to get comfortable with that role? And does it help that she's had as many minutes and the role that she's had?
Yeah, I think Yaya, not unlike a lot of people in her class, they're kind of the COVID kids, that didn't go out, or coaches didn't go out the summer before their senior year. Some of them got overlooked. I think she's someone that, because of being on a Connecticut AAU team, probably got overlooked. And so I think when she had this opportunity, it was first and foremost about proving that she belonged at this level. Like, I think she's had that motivation from the beginning. I don't think there's any doubt she'd love to start. I think some games she's played starter minutes. Other games you're like, wow, she just scored 12 in 15 minutes, you know? And I think, she has that Vinnie Johnson ability. I mean, it's not obvious that, when she comes into the game that I have a Yaya package, that we tend to go to. So we don't just put her in the game, we put her in the game and we utilize, her strengths. But I think a lot of it for her has been about proving that she belongs at this level. And she's been amazing. When Bella was coming off the bench, she was amazing. Asia's been amazing coming off the bench, in terms of understanding that this team has arguably 7-8 starters, and that it's about winning. It's about having fun with her teammates. I think she feeds off her teammates. And I think as much as it's nice to score 20-some points a game, I think she's enjoying winning. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for her. And I think Yaya is really, really coachable. And I think she understands that she has strengths and she has weaknesses. And this is a place that she has an opportunity to grow in both ways.
You touched on Yaya and maybe feeling under-recruited at some point in her college career. When you think about the individual stories on this team, maybe you with the social media noise the past couple seasons, Yaya, Asia with injuries, Dre not getting to play last year, all that coming together, does it make it more satisfying to have this kind of success?
Yeah, we're not stacked with 12 McDonald's All-Americans, that we're supposed to be in this situation. We're not unique in that we have a lot of stories. We're not unique in that we have a 2-time transfer and someone like Dre. The disappointment to me with Dre is that you think about what's gone on this year and 2-time transfers getting eligible and, what we went through to try to get her eligible last year to not have it happen, and to someone just sign off this year and say, you're all eligible, And so, I think this team is hungry. I think they all came here for a reason. Sarah probably Bugs and Bella, the only kind of traditional ones, only, Sarah inherited me. But I think it's a team that has learned to coexist. I don't think that, I saw somewhere we don't have the size to guard TCU. But you got to guard us too, and I think their heart's a piece. Height is one thing, heart's another thing. And so I think our versatility, I think our strength, I think all the things that people want to say are our weaknesses, I think you can turn them around. And so I think we can win a lot of different ways. I think we've proven we can win a lot of different ways. And at the same time, I think we're not going to take anyone for granted. I think there's a lot of great teams in this league. And I think if you don't show up, you're going to get beat. And so we aren't going to take a game for granted. We shouldn't take a possession for granted. I'm not going to. I like to believe I rest when the season is over, but with the portal, there is no rest anymore. So, there's a couple weeks in August that you can rest, but up until then, it's about just trying to maximize this team. I don't want the seniors that we have to have any regrets, and so that's a big deal to me. And I want our freshmen to understand that they'll be seniors in the blink of an eye, and this might be the best team they ever play on, and I hope it's not. But I also think that's how you should view being a student athlete. these are, arguably the best time of your life. And so, enjoying it, and really not taking the grind for granted. Thank you.